Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to this RACE webinar, Connection and Community, a social media guide to enhance engagement. Next. My name is Miriam Aliso from the RACE Center, and I'm going to walk you on how to interact with some of these Zoom features that we have here. Please use the Q&A to ask questions to the presenter, and use the chat box if you have any issue of a technology issue of anything like that. Okay, we have enabled the closed captioning feature here. So to use it, you just click on where it says CC closed caption and you will have it over there. Okay. Para acceder al canal en español, van a ver en la banda o cinta negra un globo que indica interpretación. Hagan clic allí, luego seleccionan español y oprimen donde dice Mute Original Audio. Esto último filtra completamente la presentación en inglés para que puedan escuchar con claridad a nuestro intérprete Guillermo. Using American Sign Language, we also have an interpreter for American Sign Language. You need to pin the interpreter. We already have done that, but if you want to do that, you can do that yourself. To pin the interpreter or anyone, you hover over the video of the participant, and you can see the three dots, and you click on pin, and that's it. That's all you need. Next slide, and then we'll have Josie Badger, our director, is going to welcome you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miriam, and thank you all for joining us here today. I am Josie Badger, and I work with these wonderful individuals at the RAISE Center. RAISE was funded by the RSA in 2014 to support transition across the country as we work with parent centers that serve youth and families with disabilities. And so today we have a good friend of mine, Katy, who's going to be sharing about how to work well with social media. This was something that's been a request from a lot of you because we know that connecting with families and young adults is done quickest and often easiest through social media. So I'm really excited to welcome Katy.
Hi, thank you, Josie. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the work that we've done together. So thank you for the introduction. Hello, friends. My name is Katy Albert. I am the Vice President and Chief Operations Officer at Blender, Inc. I graduated from Point Park University, which is right here in Pittsburgh, a couple of years ago, with a degree in public relations and advertising. I am a Hootsuite certified social media manager with about 10 years experience in the industry. And in that time, I have developed a real passion for helping others use social media for good. Blender was established in 2004 by Chris Canarium and Stephen Lowry with the mission to do good work for people who do good works. Blender is the home of bold ideas, smart strategies, and people who really love what they do. We work with some of our region's leading nonprofits, education, and human service entities. And through communication, messaging, social media, graphic design, website creation, marketing campaigns, and a host of other things, we have been able to play a small role in helping people improve their lives. I mentioned that Josie and I have done some work together in the past. Blender was honored with a 2017 PRSA Renaissance Award for United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania's I Want to Work campaign. I Want to Work is a social media self-advocacy campaign that empowered young adults with disabilities to use social media as a way to connect with lawmakers, legislators, and decision makers to help showcase that they wanted to work, they were able to work, and they needed these legislators' help to pass legislation to make those dreams a reality. The hook of the I Want to Work campaign was that a self-advocate would meet with a legislator, ask them to take a selfie, some of which you see here. The self-advocate would then post those photos on social media as a way to thank the legislator for that meeting and to showcase how important the work was to them. You can still follow United Way and I Want to Work on social media. I encourage you to do that and go find them. But we're going to talk a little bit more today about the rise and roles of social media. The first social media networking site was 6 Degrees, which launched in 1997. On 6 Degrees, you could have a profile, and on your profile, you could list any interests, a school affiliation, you could have a friends list, and upload photos. So while those basic functions still sound pretty familiar, they have certainly evolved and diversified over the past 24 years. Today, there are a whole host of social media networking sites, more than 100, and they each try to focus in on a unique purpose. No matter which platform we're talking about, the heart of social media lies in community and connection. So regardless of your location or your circumstance, everyone is welcomed to create a profile and join in any of these countless global conversations that happen every day across social media. So let's take a step back and look at social media by the numbers. Right now in 2022, there are 4.2 billion social media users worldwide. Here in the United States, the average US user spends 2 hours on social media every day and 35 minutes a day on their favorite social media sites. We do know that teenagers in the United States can spend 3 to 9 hours a day on social media, just significantly more than the average 2 hours. But if you have a teenager, I think you can agree with me there. And we also see Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok being the top 3 channels where people are spending most of their time per day. We are going to go through the top 6 of today's social media networks, although there were certainly hundreds of sites that came between 6 Degrees, Friendster, and Facebook before we got to where we are today. But we are going to look through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You'll find that throughout these 6 channels, the core function of any social networking site is to engage, to comment, to like, to share, and to find that connection. So we're going to go through channel by channel. If you do have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll take a brief pause after each channel to address any questions. We also have some time for a Q&A at the end. So we are going to start with Facebook, and a few weeks ago, Katy is going to tell us a little bit more about Facebook. Unfortunately, she has an error. A few weeks ago, Katy, in the beginning of this video. Facebook was launched in 2006. So want to make sure right here at the top of this video, Facebook launched in 2006, but we'll listen in and then we can address any questions that come from here. Facebook was created in 2016 by Mark Zuckerberg and several of his roommates at Harvard. At the time, they intended the site to be a place for only college students to connect and share their lives. You initially needed a .edu email address to sign up for Facebook. Although today, Facebook is one of the most influential companies in the world with billions of users across the globe. Facebook operates on a desktop and a mobile app interface, which allows greater accessibility than some platforms that are app only. All users must have a personal profile, and privacy settings are up to the individual. From your personal profile, users can post text, photos, videos, articles, GIFs. You can go live with a video, schedule events, and more, all with your chosen Facebook friends. Users can also create a public page for their business, team, or based on an interest. And while users used to have to choose from 6 categories of pages, Facebook now has one standard page template that you can personalize based on your interests and what the group is trying to accomplish. There are also a wider variety of tools that are available with a Facebook page. Those include access to the Facebook Creator Studio, and that's a place where you can draft posts and schedule them to go live in the future. You can view insights, and you can even schedule ads from that platform. Users can also create a public or private group where people can be invited or asked to join. And groups don't offer a lot of those same tools that you'll get on a page, but folks tend to find it useful if you're having a smaller, more intimate conversation, maybe for a board or a committee. So 2 of your main options there on Facebook are a public page or a public. Because Facebook is one of the most widely used social media platforms, there is a great variety of audiences for you to talk to. Although females make up the majority of Facebook's audience at 55%, we do see males coming in just under there at 45%. And the great thing about Facebook is the age breakdown. The vast majority of the audience is between 18 and 44, although you really see that 25 to 34 segment of the audience make up nearly a quarter of Facebook's entire audience base. So skewing slightly female and slightly younger to middle-aged. Now, Facebook, of course, has strengths and weaknesses. Some of the strengths are that large user base. It offers the opportunity to connect with a diverse range of people. Facebook's ad manager and the Creator Studio allow users to schedule posts, monitor performance, and tailor ads to target your ideal audiences. Facebook also has a dedicated accessibility and assistive technology team that can be contacted via the Facebook Help Center or by contacting their own social media channels. A couple of the weaknesses of Facebook are that Facebook's algorithms are constantly evolving. An algorithm is what Facebook uses to decide which post people should see when they log into Facebook, in what order those posts show up, and how often you're likely to see them. Though Facebook's large user base is a good opportunity, it also means that there's more competition. So you have to stay on top of those algorithm changes. Right now, Facebook is prioritizing relationships. Is the post from a person, a news source, or a public figure that the user often engages with? The content type.
Is the post something that the user would typically interact with? Is it a photo or a video or a link? Popularity. Are other people engaging with this post? And recency, of course. Is the post new? Breaking news or something that's fresh is always going to be put just slightly higher in Facebook's algorithm.
Right. Thank you a couple of weeks ago, Katie, for that breakdown of Facebook. We are now just going to take 1 second, and Lauren is going to let us know if there are any questions in the Q&A, or if anyone has a question on Facebook that they want to address right now. We can just take a moment.
Yes, Katie, we have one question in queue that says, do you consider YouTube as social media?
I do, yes. YouTube is a great social media networking site. We could have had a presentation and talked about 50 or 60 social media networking sites. We just chose today to kind of zero in on the top 6.
We do have a question in the chat that just came up. Can Facebook post to Twitter and Instagram at the same time? And is that a good idea? And I also want to remind folks to please post in the Q&A so we can keep those technical issues separate from your questions. Thanks.
Thank you for the reminder, and apologies if I directed anybody to the chat. Yes, you can. We call that cross-posting. In your Facebook settings, you can go in and link your Twitter account. There are a slew of positives and negatives to that. Each channel has their own content requirements. So if your Facebook post is, 2 paragraphs of text, Twitter has a character limit. So if you just automatically try to link your 2 channels, the content might not be ideal. So if you're in a pinch, it's a solution that could work. But if you have the time, I would encourage you to, make sure that your content is designed for the channel that you're sharing it on.
We have 2 more questions. One is in the chat. Again, reminder, please use the Q&A. It says, what about Reddit? Is that considered social media?
Yes, absolutely. I think anywhere you are interacting with somebody, having that 2-way conversation, sharing, commenting, any platform with that kind of functionality will fall under the umbrella of a social media networking site.
Okay, 2 more. Are you familiar with Facebook Meta Business Suite? Any advantages to using it?
Yes, and we are going to talk a little bit about the Creator Studio I did in this video. We're going to look a little bit at Facebook's tools. If you are ready for those kind of more sophisticated capabilities that you are able to use in the Creator Studio and under the Meta platform, it's still Facebook. They just changed their name to Meta. It's not necessarily something new or different, but it is a great suite of tools. There's some scheduling abilities within the kind of Meta Creator Studio. So yes, definitely a good tool.
And finally, can you talk about how the pandemic changed the algorithms? Is there any data on that?
Sure. And of course, we could do a whole other presentation on the impacts of the pandemic on social media. One of the first things that happened was Facebook created a little flag that you could use if you were posting COVID-19 resources or help. So because at Blender, I work with a lot of nonprofits, we were sharing a lot of emergency basic needs, resources, channels people could use to get help or to, share where the food banks were. So Facebook did create that flag that helped us make sure that information was at the top of the algorithm. We have also seen a lot more users navigate to using social media as their news platform. So I think if you're an avid user of social media, you've seen some additional things like Facebook will put up a little flag if the content being shared is questionable. If it's about vaccination, there is something that automatically comes up that will direct users to the CDC to learn more about COVID-19. So Facebook is certainly not perfect. They have a lot of work to do, but there were some things that they tried to do through the pandemic to make sure that true, honest information and resources were getting to the people who need them.
And speaking of issues with Facebook, last question, I've noticed a compressed quality issue when cross-posting from either Instagram or Facebook. Is there a better way to avoid this?
Yeah, some of it is you can use a social media third party, like a Hootsuite or a Sprout Social. Those are platforms where you can schedule your content to go directly from that platform onto the social media site. Anytime you are asking Facebook to pass something to Instagram, you may see the quality decrease, particularly in photos or videos. So similar to one of those first questions, if you can, you really want to be posting the content natively directly to the channel, or scheduling it through a platform like Hootsuite or Sprout Social, just so you're doing a little bit less of those pass-throughs. And we will now go ahead and move on to Twitter. If there are any questions on Twitter, we'll do the same thing.
Twitter was launched in 2007 by Evan Williams and Biz Stone. And this was just shortly following the launch of Facebook in 2006. So they chose to differentiate the platform by focusing on microblogging. So that means, unlike many other social networks, Twitter limits how long a user's post can be. And despite that, there are currently more than 330 million Twitter users worldwide. Like Facebook, Twitter offers a desktop and a mobile app interface, and Twitter users can create an account, control their privacy settings, and determine who they allow to follow them, and even who they allow to respond to their tweets. Twitter's tools are slightly more streamlined than Facebook's. On Twitter, you do have that character limit, so it's 240 characters per post. And a Twitter post is called a tweet. So although we have that character limit, users can create a thread by linking multiple tweets together. Users can also attach photos, videos, links, polls, and more to their tweets to make them even more engaging and interactive. Trending is often a goal on Twitter, as the platform places greater emphasis on topics that are wildly popular among Twitter users. So when we think about the prime audience on Twitter, it's largely male, 62%. We also have just a slightly older peak age range from Facebook. Here on Twitter, it's largely 25 to 49, with 25 to 34 actually being the chief audience segment there. When we look at strengths and weaknesses, because of that unique user base, largely male and 25 to 49, Twitter offers a unique opportunity to connect with that more elusive audience. Hashtags, the lifeblood of conversations on Twitter, are an easy way to elevate your message and increase visibility. The trending dashboard, which is easily available on Twitter, allows you to monitor popular topics, discussions, and determine how you can use those trends to amplify your posts. Twitter also has a dedicated accessibility account that shares updates, highlights new features, and they're also available for user support on their social media channels or through Twitter's help desk. A couple of weaknesses. The conversation on Twitter changes really quickly. Sometimes something that was trending this morning could be old news by this afternoon. So that means that timeliness is key, making sure that any news is posted as quickly as possible. It's a very quick cycle on Twitter. And although that 240 character limit can be challenging, brevity really encourages you to look for the core truth of your message.
Okay, Lauren, I see we have 3 questions in the chat or in the Q&A. Questions in the Q&A.
Yes, we do. The first is, what is the difference between a thread and a string in the context of messages?
The same.
Okay. The next one, we are creating a robust social media content calendar and included YouTube since our research showed it is in the top 2 most used. What is the best place to find the most popular social media sites? Now I question our research accuracy.
And there are certainly different uses for each social media site. We are looking at today through the lens of advocacy for social media and connecting, particularly, with the audience that the Raise Center focuses on. So of course, there may be a case for YouTube being the top channel for the work that you're doing. A lot of social media, I like to say, is part science and part magic. So it's a little bit of, what is best for what you're looking for. So I would say, don't take what I'm saying necessarily as a way to negate what the research that your team has done. Again, we're kind of, focused here on a particular kind of core audience and issue, but I would be happy to connect more with you and learn what your team is working on.
Okay, and finally, how do some hashtags cause an account or post to be shadow banned?
So sometimes if you are overusing some of the most popular hashtags, it's a way that Twitter can kind of flag you if you are trying to use hashtags just to kind of go viral and boost your content, but you're not really, adding to that conversation by using that hashtag. It's part of Twitter's, commitment to authenticity and, protecting users from any fake or bot accounts. If you do find that you have been, kind of flagged or put in a shadow ban, unnecessarily, then I would recommend contacting Twitter, explaining the issue, what you think happened. And I've been successful in having some decisions repealed. The other thing that you can do if you don't want to contact Twitter is kind of go back to what we call safe behavior. Don't do so much of the hashtagging, limit it to a couple that make sense and are directly related to the message that you're sharing. So a little bit of, too much of a good thing can get you flagged by Twitter, but it should be something that you'd be able to have overturned.
There's another question here. I'm familiar with the 6 social media platforms we're covering today, but you mentioned using Hootsuite or Sprout Social. What are those?
Yeah. So Hootsuite and Sprout Social are examples of a social media listening and reporting platform. So this is, you would create an account with, and there's countless others. Hootsuite and Sprout Social are just the 2 that I have worked with personally. It essentially creates an aggregate dashboard. You can plug in your Facebook, your Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. The channels that you can upload depend on which dashboard you're using. But it's one place where you can schedule, check your analytics for all of your different social media platforms in one place. So although you, may not actually have time at 8 a.m. on Monday morning to schedule your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn post, you can do it in advance and make sure that all of those go live at the best time for that channel. So Sprout Social, Hootsuite, two of my personal favorite social listening and reporting platforms.
Twitter was launched in
We already learned about Twitter. We are going to move ahead to the LinkedIn video here, and then we are at a half an hour, so I'm going to move through these so we can get to some of the best practices and strategy of our discussion too.
LinkedIn is the world's largest online professional network with more than 740 million users. Launched by Reid Hoffman in 2003, LinkedIn serves as a virtual resume and allows users to find the right job or internship, connect with and strengthen professional relationships, and promote their skills. LinkedIn can be accessed through a desktop and mobile app interface. All users must have a personal profile, and again, privacy settings are up to the individual. A user's profile is populated with information about their education, their career, their interests, all of those things that you would typically put on a resume. From that personal profile, users can post text, photos, videos, links to articles, things they even author themselves with their chosen LinkedIn connection. Users can create a page for their business, team, organization, or cause. And users can also create a public or private group that operates similar to those we talked about on Facebook. It's a great place to host a more intimate conversation, although groups can be public for things that are maybe industry or job title specific, but you can also host those private groups for just people that you invite in to join you. The primary audience on Twitter is predominantly male at 57%, and really unique to LinkedIn, the 25 to 34 audience segment makes up almost 60% of the prime audience. So that makes sense when we think about people who are potentially newer in their careers or are, kind of looking at that career growth, that it could potentially be folks in those mid-20s to mid-30s. LinkedIn has some great strengths. It's a key place to reach professionals and those who are looking to improve their education or their career. As the most professional of the social media platforms, LinkedIn content often takes a more serious and focused tone. This isn't the place that you're going to share that funny meme or upload a selfie that you and your friends took last night. Think more networking and less social-ing. There are some weaknesses to LinkedIn, of course, as well. Because LinkedIn users are often focused on their career goals and making connections, it can be more difficult to connect with them on other topics. Advertising on LinkedIn is also slightly more complicated and can be less impactful unless it's focused on those employment opportunities or a related topic like returning to school or rejoining the workforce after unemployment. So a lot of good stuff about LinkedIn, just a slightly more focused channel than some of the others we've examined today.
Okay, it looks like we do not have a question in the Q&A, so we will move on to Instagram. We are almost through the video portion, so we will here take a little bit of a deeper look at Instagram.
Instagram is a photo and video sharing app that was launched in 2010 by Kevin Systrom, although it's now owned by Facebook.
Or
On
Meta.
Instagram, users can share and view memories from family and friends, from public figures, organizations, and can view products that may interest them from around the world. From the beginning, Facebook was primarily designed to be an app that features photographs taken on mobile devices. Though Instagram is primarily designed to be a mobile app, there are some limited desktop capabilities. Users can create a personal or a business profile and control their privacy settings, so they can determine who sees their content and who's allowed to follow them. On Instagram feed, users can post photos, either a single photo or an album of up to 10 and 60-second videos. There is also Instagram Reels, which is similar to TikTok. On Instagram Reels, you can post shorter videos that are 15, 30, or 60 seconds, and even longer videos, those over 60 seconds, can be shared to Instagram TV, which is called IGTV. Instagram also has a stories section. This appears at the top of the home screen and is a photo that disappears after 24 hours. Although stories that are posted can be saved as a highlight on the user's profile. Instagram has an interesting and dynamic audience. Instagram is just skews slightly female at 51%, although we do see that Instagram skews dynamically younger in terms of age range. Almost 70% of Instagram users are under the age of 35. 25 to 34 is the top segment, but we do see really strong representation from 18 all the way through 44 years of age. Now, that's a strength. Instagram's visual nature attracts that younger audience. We typically have our phones, we're out, doing things and kind of capturing our lives. And Instagram is a really great way to showcase what you're doing or where you're going. So it lends itself really well to live event coverage. Now, based on the topics you're interested in, Instagram will personalize your explore page and your feed. That allows you to see content you're interested in, things you want to see, and it means that your primary audience is more likely to see your content too. There are, of course, some weaknesses. Many of Instagram's tools, including publishing, are only available on the mobile app interface. Instagram's web traffic is self-contained. That means that users must engage with their audience on the Instagram app as opposed to using a service like Hootsuite. So that means if someone comments on one of your posts, you have to pick up your phone, open the Instagram app and write your response on Instagram. You also can only publish content to Instagram right now from the mobile app interface. The copy that comes along with an Instagram post does not support clickable links. So this means that if you want someone to visit your website from an Instagram post, you should direct them to the single link that's available in your bio section. There is a slight reward for accounts over 10,000 followers. You do unlock the ability to link URLs in your story. So a little incentive there to have a large Instagram audience.
So As we mentioned in that video, things are constantly changing on Instagram, and they have actually recently added for most accounts a little sticker on your story where you can now use links. But again, unfortunately, most of your engagement and posting on Instagram does have to happen on your phone. We referenced Sprout Social and Hootsuite, to reporting and scheduling platforms that will allow you to at least post on Instagram from your laptop, but any engagement or answering questions or comments does still need to happen through the app. And Lauren, I see we have a couple of questions in the Q&A on Instagram.
We sure do. The first one is, using stories feature on Facebook as impactful as it is on Instagram?
It depends a little bit on the audience, because Facebook and Instagram are now sisters. They're both owned by Meta, their parent company. When you publish something to your Instagram story, if you've linked your Facebook and Instagram accounts, you can publish to the same story on Facebook. If you're thinking about your Instagram audience, which maybe is younger, maybe they don't use Facebook, or maybe your Facebook audience is a little bit older, maybe it's other organizations, just think about who you wanted, who was the audience for your story. You know, if it would make sense for your Facebook audience to see that message, then sure, post it there too. I think Instagram, if you're using hashtags or anything like that, Instagram does tend to give you a little boost on your reach. So essentially it comes down to the content, if there's a benefit on putting it on Facebook as well.
Okay, next question. What are your recommendations about the size and specifications to allow for cross-publishing in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube in one step, so we don't have to make specific posts for each?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't necessarily give you one catch-all answer for that, because it just doesn't always work. If you're trying to publish a video to YouTube, that's not going to be supported by Twitter, or the length is not going to be supported by Instagram. However, if you have an image, for example, a photo of your team at an event, and the copy is just, you know, had a great time at such and such event, grateful for our team, you know, maybe that's something that's general enough that could go on all of your channels. But unfortunately, I cannot give you one size or something that would work across all of your channels. I can, however, say Sprout Social and a couple of those other social media today. There's some kind of industry publications that regularly publish guides on photo size, any sort of like video, you know, quality limitations, things like that. So I'm so sorry that there's not necessarily an easy answer there.
And what is the benefit of using Reels in Instagram versus Stories? It made to be similar to TikTok.
It was. So I'd mentioned earlier that, you know, ideally each of these social media platforms should be unique. And we do see a little bit, you know, Instagram focuses much more on visuals and photography. Twitter focuses a little bit more on, you know, short copy text in the micro blogging. But when Snapchat, which was, you know, we'll talk about here in a second, became really popular with that vanishing video technique, that's how Instagram started their stories to be similar to Snapchat. It then, when TikTok took off, Instagram took that video format, kind of the quickness nature of that, and created Reels. When Facebook bought Instagram, they got to integrate Reels into their channel. So there is a little bit of, oh, that works well. Let's add that to my channel. So yes, there is a little bit of copycatting going on between Reels and TikTok and Facebook Reels, but they do serve a little bit of a different function. Your Instagram story is going to be shown to your current followers. So the people who already, like and follow you. The Instagram Reels is a newer capability for the channel. So Instagram is giving that favorable placement in the algorithm. So that means not only will your followers see a reel that you post, but Instagram is going to make sure that other people see it too. So if you're using a hashtag with your reel or, anything that's going to indicate to Instagram, oh, Katy might be interested in this, let's show it to her. So it's a little bit of the content. And then because Reels is Instagram's new favorite thing, they're giving it a little bit of extra love too.
And there's another question here. Are there design dimensions that are highly preferred to use across all platforms? I noticed Instagram, for example, has a better appearance with square posts as it looks visually appealing in the grid shape, like not cutting off a head because it was a rectangle design instead.
Yes. So there are, and I just have a couple of them memorized. On Facebook, it's 1230 by 628. So that's an image that's, slightly more rectangular. So yes, again, if you look at Sprout Social, they call it the ever-changing social media size guide. And I can, well, after I'm done presenting, I can share that link in the chat. But yes, unfortunately, they are not available. Like Facebook doesn't have a page that's going to list all of their top sizes. But if you search for that on Google, my preferred is Sprout Social's guide. But you'll be able to find some really reputable sources that have the image dimensions for each channel.
There's also a comment here, Canva has templates with the sizes for each platform.
Yes, and we're going to talk a little bit about other tools that you can be using. Sprout Social, Hootsuite, and Canva is one of them.
Instagram is
So we are going to talk a little bit now about Snapchat.
Originally named Peekaboo, Snapchat was founded in 2011 by Evan Spiegel, Reggie Brown, and Bobby Murphy, all students at Stanford University. Snapchat allows users to send a photo, a video, or a text-based message that are called snaps. Now, what makes Snapchat so different is that after someone opens and views your snap, it disappears. This disappearing nature is what makes Snapchat so different from any of the other social networks. Snapchat users can create a profile, make a little Bitmoji, a little, character that looks like them, and create a friends list based on people that they know. You do also have the ability to subscribe to celebrities or brand to receive content from them. Snapchat does also have a stories section that is similar to Instagram. Now, this is where instead of sending a snap to one individual friend, users can post that to their story on their profile where it can be viewed by their friends for 24 hours before disappearing. Snapchat also offers a whole host of filters, stickers, creative tools, and lenses that make it a really fun and engaging platform. If you've ever seen a picture of somebody who has heart-shaped eyes or is suddenly sprouting antennas, that might have come from Snapchat. And because of that really fun, creative, irrelevant
kind of content nature, we see Snapchat being really popular among teenagers. So right now, Snapchat does skew slightly female at 54%, but the majority of the audience is between 13 and 20 years old. So that's an opportunity. It's definitely a strength of Snapchat. This is a place where younger people are coming to engage, have fun, and connect with their close friends. There are, of course, some weaknesses. Because of Snapchat's limited audience and short-term nature, some people can act inappropriately, maybe say or do things they wouldn't do in public. Snapchat also offers less engagement than other platforms. You can't like somebody's snap or share it or comment on it publicly. It's all very based on a one-on-one relationship that you're having with somebody. Those filters and creative tools we talked about that are really, really fun can also be a weakness, a problem. Many people believe that the tools on that channel can be supporting unrealistic body images and encouraging folks to be a little more risque than they need to be. So strengths and weaknesses, but definitely a lot of interesting opportunity on Snapchat. Okay, Lauren, do we have a cue for me to A?
Yes. How can you increase your reach on SC?
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Thank you. It's there. You should see all the acronyms I'm getting in the Q&A. Okay. It seems limited to only people you already know, not very socially friendly.
Sure. And I think Snapchat really is one of the social media networking sites that didn't necessarily intend to be quite the juggernaut that it has become. One of the things that you can do to boost your Snapchat audience is cross-promoting it. If you have an event coming up, or you're inviting people, to come together for a meeting, that's a great place to, ask people, hey, send us a snap. Hey, we're going to cover tonight's conversation on Snapchat. If you are using the channel to share information that you're not sharing on your other channels, that's going to be a reason for people to come and join you on Snapchat. I mentioned some of the filters that you can create on Snapchat. If you're having, for example, an advocacy day in Harrisburg, you could create a filter that, for my example, we'll say, hashtag I want to work, across the bottom of this. So anyone who is at your event, you can say, hey, log on to Snapchat, use our filter. So I find that creating reasons for people to friend you or to join you on Snapchat, that's going to push your audience up a little bit. All right, and we're going to chug along to TikTok here. TikTok was created by the Chinese tech giant ByteDance and was released in September 2016. Most of TikTok's prominent features are similar to a former social media app called Musical.ly. And Musical.ly was created so that users could create and share 15-second lip syncing videos. TikTok is now available in 155 countries and in more than 75 languages. TikTok users can create a personal or a business profile and choose if their videos will be seen by just their friends or by the TikTok community at large. With a focus on video, users can upload either a 15 or 60-second clip or up to a full 3-minute video. TikTok's For You page utilizes an algorithm that shows a user content based on their previous activity and things they may be interested in. Although most people know TikTok for their dance and lip syncing videos, TikTok has evolved to include a variety of other content like comedy, education, baking, sports, DIY projects. If you're interested in it, you can probably find a TikTok community that's devoted to what you're interested in. TikTok also offers an extensive music library. Those are called sounds. The duet feature on TikTok allows for users to record themselves alongside an existing TikTok video in a split screen format. So unlike Snapchat, Duet offers you the opportunity to respond to somebody, to build on what they were saying, to engage. It's much more relationship building than some of the other social networks. TikTok is another social platform that is primarily geared towards a younger audience. We do see TikTok skewing slightly female at 59%, but we see a dynamically younger audience here. 10 to 29 is the top audience segment, but we do see 32% of TikTok's audience being in between the ages of 10 and 19 years old. In terms of strengths, TikTok boasts an impressive user engagement due to the nature of the app, that duetting with somebody or building off of a sound that they used. Trends are easily identifiable on TikTok. It's easy to scroll for a moment and get a sense of what the trending sound of the day is. Hashtags are also another great way to increase your visibility and join conversations on TikTok. In terms of weaknesses, although TikTok does have more than 600 million users, there can be an oversaturation of content. Certain TikTok trends have a short shelf life, and it can be really hard to keep up with how quickly the trends change. Similar to concerns with Snapchat, TikTok also utilizes those same filters, creative tools that alter your appearance. So similar to Snapchat, a lot of critics can say that this is another channel that promotes those unrealistic body standards, but a really interesting platform and a great opportunity to connect with younger people in a platform where they're naturally engaging and having fun. Okay, I do see that we have a question in the Q&A, but I am going to hold that question and address it at the end so we can try to get through a little bit more of the meat of the presentation in these last couple of minutes. I am, of course, available to stay on if anybody had additional questions at the end, or can reach me via email. So we'll move through here and then I'll address more of the questions at the end. There are a couple of best practices that are true across the social media networks. First and foremost, you want to be posting regularly. For most of these channels, that's going to be at least 3 to 5 times a week. So if you're like working during the week, posting Monday through Friday could be a good schedule. Or if you, are more active on the weekends, just making sure that we have, regular content being newly posted to the channel. You want to be monitoring your analytics. Are you getting more likes when you post photos? Are you getting less likes when you're posting, too infrequently? So don't be afraid to monitor those analytics. Use tools. We talked about Sprout Social and Hootsuite. Canva or Photoshop. There are different photo editing platforms that will have templates. So they can take a photo and edit it to Facebook size or to Twitter size. There may be some additional fees affiliated with those tools. They are not all owned by the different social media platforms. So, those could sometimes, I've had a Facebook post be rejected because it came from a third-party platform. So if it's not sanctioned by the social media platform, you may have a little bit of trouble with the tools, but they're really helpful to have. Following those trends, be active on social media. If you're seeing people, using a certain hashtag or a sound, and you can think of a way to use that and make it relevant with your content, that's the perfect time to hop on a trend. And of course, engage. Social media is a two-way street. If you want people to be commenting, liking, sharing on your content, make sure you're liking and sharing and commenting too. Each platform does have accessibility tools. I know that we are at 3 o'clock. Anybody want to give me an indication if it's okay to keep rolling?
This is Josie. You can keep going. Sorry, my dogs are excited that it's 3 o'clock. But we know that some folks have to jump off, and folks, if you do, we will be sending you the recording, but please feel free to stay on as well.
Yes, we will keep rolling. And I'm so sorry, all of the great questions, but we will go ahead and continue here. And as Josie said, this recording will be available, and I'm happy to address any additional questions from anybody who did have to hop off right at 3 o'clock. So when we talk about platform accessibility, on Facebook, there are a couple of tools built into the channel. Some of those things are keyboard shortcuts, being able to use screen readers and other assistive technology, turning on closed captions, being able to change your text size or the contrast, using live video as a means to, connect with your audience, or video calling. Facebook does also offer an accessibility guide, both for Facebook Messenger and for the Facebook feed. Facebook also has a dedicated accessibility and assistive technology team that you can reach out to, for any questions or kind of additional assistance. And this brief video here just shows that if you go into your settings, which can be found in the top right corner, you can give feedback based on your experience. You can go into your settings here, just showing you a couple of those different tools. Help and support, where you can access that help center. And the display and accessibility. This is where you can choose light mode or dark mode. You can make your text a little larger or smaller. And you can also access the keyboard shortcuts. Just under my screen there, you can see there we go. You can toggle on that capability and be able to use those keyboard shortcuts. Twitter offers slightly less, fewer built-in capabilities than Facebook. You are able to use alternative image or text image descriptions. So when you upload a photo, you're able to type in and describe what somebody would be looking at in that photo. So for screen readers or assistive technology, that's something that everybody should be using. That can just make it, easier for folks to see your image. Twitter does also offer an accessibility center for excellence and experience accessibility. And we'll look quickly here how you go into your Twitter settings. You can see there, you can access the help center. You can go into your settings here, find the disability display and language. Go to accessibility. You can increase the color contrast or reduce the motion of some images that you're seeing. Here in display, you have full control over your font size, also your accent color for your buttons and for your links. And also the background. Do you want to go to a darker blue dim or a lights out mode? I prefer lights out. We also have there, as I mentioned, the Help Center, which takes you to a different page, so we don't click on it here. And then again, some of those keyboard shortcuts that you can use on Twitter. From here, we kind of take a little bit of a downturn, and we're going to talk through some channels that really aren't offering as much as they could be in terms of accessibility. LinkedIn is compatible with screen readers and assistive technology, and they do have a disability answer desk. So this is support where you can go in and ask a question or review the questions that others have asked and had answered. It's not necessarily a live service. It's more something where you would submit and wait for a response or try to troubleshoot. LinkedIn does also recommend Be My Eyes, which is a free service that connects blind and low vision people with volunteers. So you would use this service and somebody would, kind of talk through some solutions or, what it is that you're trying to do on LinkedIn. This is a volunteer service. They are not LinkedIn employees. LinkedIn doesn't have a lot of control or oversight. So on the fence about how helpful that is, but it's interesting to see that LinkedIn includes something. To find the accessibility tools, we have to scroll down to the bottom of your LinkedIn screen, and you'll be taken to this page, which includes the disability answer desk. There is a contact us form there where you can, like I said, submit those questions and wait for a response. And then some other information here from LinkedIn. They're a Microsoft company and some accessibility information for their employees. But here's a look at what that request tab looks like. So we'll hope to see LinkedIn come along.
So I just wanted to mention, we have a couple interpreters that have been working for an hour. I just want to make sure that they have a moment to take a break if they need it. And Katie, how much more do you have?
A couple of minutes.
Okay, so we're ready. Let's do this.
Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, we will all move through quickly. We are seeing, screen readers, assistive technology, being available throughout the board. On Instagram, we are seeing the text size customization along with the live video and video calling. Although for Instagram, for TikTok, and for Snapchat, you are really limited to what you can do from your cellular device or your tablet. TikTok is not supported by Hootsuite, by Sprout Social, nor is Snapchat. So there are a couple of these channels that, really have a long way to go in terms of increasing their accessibility via their desktop platforms. The one thing I did want to call out on TikTok is that they actually do limit, see if we can find it here. If you go into your TikTok settings, there is the availability. You can toggle on an epilepsy warning. So if you go ahead and turn that on, it will prevent any videos from being shown to you that have flashing lights or could, trigger an epileptic response. So that is something unique to TikTok that we are not seeing any of the other social platforms doing. So to get a look at these different accessibility tools for Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat, just go ahead into your in-channel settings and you'll be able to find these tools that we've mentioned here today. Here we just look quickly at a couple of the best channels. If you're looking to build awareness, you would want to look at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Those channels that allow for better connection with different audiences. If you're looking to advertise an event, Facebook's advertising suite is very user-friendly. There is support there. You can talk to a live person if you're doing an ad. So Facebook and Twitter have really strong advertising capabilities. If you're at a live event, we've talked through a couple of the different use cases for TikTok or Snapchat. Instagram and Twitter are great at live events. To activate your audience, channels where it's really easy to ask somebody to share, comment, or like, those are going to be Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So what's your roadmap to success? You want to create a strategy. Think about what are your goals? Who is your audience and what do you want them to do? Then make a schedule. How often do you need to be posting on your channels? And some of that comes down to how much time your team has to dedicate to social. So if you are a small team and you don't have a lot of time, it may be worth it to you to look into Hootsuite or Sprout Social, those platforms that let you schedule your content in advance. Think about what your audience is looking for. What kind of content do they want to receive from you? Let that guide your schedule. And lastly, check yourself. After you've been doing your new strategy for 2 or 3 months, look back and say, am I seeing results? Is my audience growing? Am I reaching more people? If you're accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself, let that be your guide. Don't focus so much on comparing yourself to other audiences or other organizations. Do what works for you and do it really well. So I apologize for going over the time. I so thank Dina and the interpreters for taking the additional time and their beautiful work today. Lauren, do we have any additional questions that we want to catch here at the end?
Yes, we have 3. What kind of content do you recommend for educational awareness organizations that may not necessarily have access to create 15-second videos? In other words, finding the right person willing to go on camera solely for TikTok.
I would say ask. If you have committees or folks who are already really engaged, ask them, hey, do you know anybody who's a rock star on TikTok? You'd want to start, maybe with somebody who is somewhat affiliated with your organization and the work that you do. If not, you can always partner with a TikTok creator. So you could reach out to somebody and say, hey, hopefully you would have a little bit of budget to be able to offer them for their time. But, working with an influencer or a TikTok creator could be a great way to springboard some of your content.
Next one, what about Medium?
Medium is something that I have seen falling out of favor just a little bit. But I think there are other places on LinkedIn, for example, where you can author longer thought leadership pieces. But if you were posting to Medium and then sharing that link on your social channels, we think Medium is great. I haven't seen it necessarily get as popular as some of these other networks, but if you're looking for a place to share long form copy, Medium's a good place to do that.
Okay, we're gonna cut off questions at this point and we'll share out information for further communications.
So Katie, obviously you were a hit. And just thank you all. Thank you, interpreters. Thank you, Katie and Blender. This is a great topic. And if there was a question you guys had that was not answered, please put it in the survey. And that will be coming, I think, in the chat box, and it should also pop up later. But folks, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Katie, so very much, and have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so